Hey, hello everyone. ShriRam here. Okay, good to see you all.
Good evening, ShriRam.
Nice to meet you all. Let's see in the cam. Let's say hi. Come on the cam if you are comfortable.
Hello, ShriRam.
After a long time, we're connecting some of the faces, good faces there. Great. How is your Friday going on? July 16. Sounds good. Fantastic.
As usual.
Yeah.
A lot of punches left and right. Huh?
Exactly.
Meantime, your company would have started mid-year review. Already last year review itself properly not completed. Meantime, company will tell, HR will tell, mid-year review coming. Everybody watch out. Huh? Okay, that's part of a life. I know most of you want to do a lot of things in the week, Monday to Friday. But before you think, the week goes out and many commitments, many things to achieve in life. You want to grow, you want to big, you want rich, you want to grow in family, all to happen. But day comes up, night comes up, day comes up, night comes up, nothing moves, right? Sometimes I feel, what happening, man? But suddenly you see the paper, Reliance Ambani become furthermore richer. And this guy, Amazon CEO flying to space. How these guys are doing, right? Right. It's each one has a different cycle in life. We shouldn't compare. Okay, it's a usual dialogue. But this dialogue, my parents or your parents would have not said in school days. See, your cousin is scoring well. You are not scoring well. See, that guy is going to school correctly. You're not going to school correctly. Okay. Now, after age of 25, they tell, don't compare. Life, don't compare. Each one has a different. And 25 years, you keep on comparing. Suddenly, if they say, don't compare, how can I? So, somewhere, basically, economically, physically, there is a problem. So, point is, what I saw is even this week for me, pretty crazy. Too many things happening around. One thing I found is there is no point in putting blame on others or the society. Government is not good, people is not good, my company is not good. Rather, find your own space, own bubble. How to find? One thing I feel is sometimes we have to get away from this digital things, what you have, maybe mobile, maybe laptop, maybe television for some time. In a week, at least half an hour, 1 hour. Get away from people around you, even your close friends and relatives. Have some space for you, take a long walk, maybe 20-30 minutes, a long walk. Don't think too much. Just take a fresh air, give a walk, come back, right? Sometimes that gives a good refreshment. I feel that works many a times. Just drop everything, become a saint, and don't have a wallet, a mobile, tit, tap, all those things in your body. Walk freely with the normal dress, right? And come back. That makes life better. Yeah, that's good. Some people get into spiritual. That's also fine. That's the other way of putting yourself. But I feel being yourself is always good. Have your bubble, your space. Yeah, that's interesting. Weekly once. That will give you some space for think yourself. Because the problem is the garbage out is not happening. Garbage in is happening. You know, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, a lot of garbage in happens not because of us, it's society. Paper push something on you, mobile push something on you, internet push something on you, agile push something on you, predictive nature push something on you. They keep pushing a lot of garbage on you. Sometimes you're overloaded with the garbage. You see some garbage vehicle going on the roadside, it will be overflowing. It will be overflowing, something like that. Rat will jump in the signal. If you sit the vehicle stands on the signal, rat will run away from the car or vehicle. Something like that happens. So point here is take your own space, give some bubble for yourself. Okay, so with this Gyan session, we'll kickstart. Thanks all for joining here. It's a great Friday and happy to see some of the good smiling faces here. Thanks for being here. I believe that you are spending some time for reading, for a preparation for examination. If not for examination, at least you're listening to get a rhythm. Not everybody will be the same rhythm of preparation. Some will be up, down, too many things in life running. Okay, but stay connected. That's very important. We create a lot of forum, like we have YouTube, like you have WhatsApp, we have LinkedIn. The reason for creating is don't want your mind to go down, which was 1 year back, not now. 1 year back or 6 months back or 3 months back, you had a rhythm that I want to get this. For some reason, it started dropping down. So not to leave the rope, we are trying to hold the rope by multiple channels. But don't think that we keep bugging you all the corner, but trying to make you stay on the context. That's a message. Once again, thanks all for being here. Today we'll talk something on Agile. Agile velocity. I can see a lot of velocity today. Strength is very high in the room because its velocity means velocity is high today. So let's listen some concepts. Velocity is a very simple, basic concept. I don't know why the software engineers have complicated it. Okay, don't talk to software engineers. These guys will complicate even simple thing, because I'm also a software engineer. So don't talk to these guys. Okay, simple things they'll show. Like Albert Einstein, they'll show nothing will be there. Okay, okay, but there are some complications. Little complications are there when the client is not clear, when your team is not clear, when there are the instability on the requirement. So that's a place where software engineers struggle hard, right? Some of the requirements in other project model, it's pretty clear, but here everything will be in the air. The people talk just in the air. Half an hour back, I was having a call with one of my teammates who is having trouble with the client, where 4 days from now production is going to happen. Now they're finding an issue and they're asking to fix it, but the issue is not evident. Where to fix, how to fix. The team is struggling hard on a Friday night. I feel so bad for these guys. I keep debugging and finding the issue. It's not easy. Life is not easy, right? That's how it is. Good. With this, I'll jump inside. Before I get inside, is any query there immediately to be resolved, or we can have Q&A post the session? Okay. Sandhya says me time. They call it as me time. Okay, is it? They have a name tag also. For that also, there'll be a hashtag. There'll be LinkedIn. There'll be Facebook, right? Me time. Okay, naming is good actually. I like it. Okay, that's good. That's good. What I do is, before you all post a question, I'll talk some topic. Then meantime, keep posting the questions. You are free to keep your cam off and on mode. You can keep your cam off and mic off. So that'll be good for you. People in the YouTube, thanks for watching this program. And you can leave the comments there or chat message there. I will try to respond for you. Right, that's how it is. What I do is I have to bring up the slide to kickstart. Let me see that I have. Here it goes. Someone should confirm me that you're able to hear me, see me well, and also you're able to get the screen. Fantastic.
Yes,
I got
we can see you.
Yes,
we
we
can
can
hear
see.
you.
Fantastic.
We can see the screen as well.
Okay, all three S's, three A's. Good. Great. Good to have you on Friday. Let's move on. So first thing, Agile. A little on the Agile. In the screen, it's so beautiful designed. It shows that Agile is a mindset. Okay. It's not something rocket science. It doesn't have any equation. It doesn't have any formula. It doesn't have any chemistry kind of stuff. It's a simple mindset, satisfy the customer. What is this, Shriram? That's it. Satisfy the customer. How to satisfy? How early you can deliver. Very good. What do you want to deliver? How important things you have to deliver. Very good. That's for the customer, Shriram. What is for me? For the company which is working, like you and me. For us, collaborate well. What do you mean by collaborate well? Look at the people, talk to them in person, understand them, and make them to feel good and respect their knowledge. Don't treat them like blue collar, white collar. If some of you listen to classes, we spoke about blue collar, white collar, where the command and control model, that's not the model. So only two entities. One is customer, satisfy them. Team, empower them. Satisfy, empower. If you understand this terminology properly, most of your questions will get resolved in exam point of view, right? Right. Let's go a little more deep inside. Right. Let's go. Okay, let's move. Rajiv, I will come to your questions. What I do is I see some questions from Rajiv in YouTube. What I do is I'll run through some subject and come to the question. I will have Q&A section. There we'll talk some more questions. It'll be interesting to talk because you will also get the momentum. I will also get the momentum. It's something like a player getting on the ground, play a few cricket ball, then you get a momentum of it. Okay, now let's see here. Mindset, what I said is two things, right? Satisfy the customer, empower the team. Two things. These two things are here. For these two things to be properly plot on, 4 manifesto was written. The terminology looks super thing, but actually nothing. 4 lines written there telling that, hey guys, help the team, okay, and also make customer happy. This 4 has a basement. You will literally love this 12 principles. You should read it at least once. Can I take it for granted some of you here read this 12 principles? If not, just Google it, Agile 12 principles, you'll get it. I'll tell you now, it looked like a luxury where I have to tell the last 5 or 8 years or 12 years, you know what is Agile principle. I'll tell you in another 4 or 5 years, it will be mandatory. In school books, it will be there. If you don't know this, it look like people look at you, oh man, are you serious? They will ask you. So in this 12 principles, nice principles they've written. Okay, they explained very well, very normal language written very beautifully. Extracting this, we will have some methodologies, including Scrum, Kanban, Scaled Agile. They have their own language. They have their own core values, pillars, and roles. I really think that all these are methodologies to implement what is said in 4 and 12. What is 4 and 12 says? 2. What is 2? Satisfy the customer, empower the team. Satisfy, empower. These two things elaborated by 4 and 12. This 4 and 12 essence taken by these people. Who are these people? Kanban, Scrum, you go to XP, you go to Crystal, a lot of methodologies are there. Let's not worry too much about it. On last one, what you see is a scaled agile. That's a happening thing in the market because of advanced agile. Okay. Why you are showing this, Sriram? Just to get a feel for you. Some of you may know agile, some of you may not know agile. Just to give an idea, agile is a concept. Agile is a mindset. Don't think Scrum is agile. Many people think Scrum means agile. That's it, over. No, Scrum is one of that. One of that is a Scrum. There are a lot more in the market, but Scrum is the best thing in the market, right? Okay, that's a ground set. Let me go a little more to help you. Now, I'm going to talk something on velocity. I said 12 principles, right? 12 principles. You can see 12 principles here. Now, I had to be a little more cautious when I talk about 12 principles. You know why? PMI Institute released a new book called PMBOK 7th edition. Project Management Body of Knowledge, 7th edition. I believe some of you read it well. Some of you scared because of this exam will change. Nothing will change. Exam will continue as it is. In that 7th edition, they have given 12 principles. Do anyone went through that? If you went through that, they do talk about the same thing, satisfy, empower. Same thing, they explained it well. So now on, we're a little bit careful. 12 principles means it could be even PMI. Okay. Unfortunately, it yet to pick up. I don't know why. Usually PMBOK 6th edition came in. There was a vibration in the market. I remember the day it came in September 2017, I believe. The book came in. Super hit in the market. It's like a movie, superstar movie release. But unfortunately, 7th edition, I don't know who all contributed. For them, it will be like, oh my God, movie doesn't go well. Movie doesn't go well. It'll pick up slowly. It has a good content, but unfortunately, it doesn't go well yet. It'll start a little later. Now, 12 principles. Now, there's a 12 principles. I don't want to read all, but I want to tell you 2 principles have some connection with the velocity. What is this, Shriram? So when I say velocity, deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with that preference to a shorter time scale. They're expecting us to deliver something frequently. How it is related? Here, we're expecting to do something to the customer, satisfy the customer by early or frequent delivery of some deliverable, usable component. Okay. This can be achieved by the set of team members who have a knowledge on that particular area. How do they achieve? By understanding the work, what need to be delivered. The work has different naming conventions. They call it as epics, themes, stories, tasks. You name it, work is a work. That's it, right? Work to be delivered. Now, this work to be delivered, how much of work they deliver, it's going to be a velocity. How much they deliver is velocity. Okay. So deliver working software frequently. The velocity being good, and that is done on a weekly basis or a monthly basis on a consistent way, that makes a customer happy. Suddenly, I don't want to deliver everything. Suddenly, I don't want to keep quiet. So it will be a good frequent delivery. Frequent is a word. Frequent means don't take it first day, second day. Could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Could be anything. So it has a relevance of something you're going to deliver. The delivery, what you're doing, it's going to be on the velocity factor. I'll come a little more deeper there. Next, I'll go one more principle down. Agile process promotes sustainable development. They picked up from the XP, extreme programming, where the sponsors, developers, and the users should be maintained at a constant pace. First thing, sustainable. In the name of delivering something to the customer, you should not excuse anyone. It may be customer, it may be yourself. Since it's a knowledgeable team, doesn't mean that you have to burn the oil. Some office you see that they keep burning. What do you mean by burning, Shriram? They ask them to work more than hours what is expected. Maybe one time they will do. If you do it again and again, what will happen is it will be counterproductive. Shriram, what is counterproductive? People will be there, work will not move. I believe you would have observed, right? Take your book and try to read 8 to 12 hours per day. It is counterproductive. Read 90 minutes, close the book, go there, talk to children or talk to parents, play around, take a walk, come back, again read 90 minutes, you will do productive. Do anyone agree on this point? If you sit continuously, nothing will happen. If you plan it 90 minutes a slot, do it, close the book, go for, take a shower, walk, do something, come back, again read, do. If you do this, it's productive. It's very simple, right? Simple logic. Rather, man, I'm sitting with the book. School days, I don't do this. School days, my parents will watch me. So I'll be very cautious, always with the book, not even one line read. Okay, that's a different story. So coming back here, sustainability is needed. Again comes here velocity. Velocity, work to be completed, right? You cannot force the team to complete too much of work. Last week, you did 10 items. This week, you have to do 12 items. Next week, 14, 16, 18. It's not a salary package going high. That is a sustainable level. Beyond that, you have to say, man, that's what the team can do. So this is a mindset. Again, it's not a theorem. It is not a equation. It is not a mathematical formula. It is a mindset, right? That's how it is. So try to connect these 2 points in the 12 principles. Let me go a little more. Now, let's talk about the velocity. And now, what do you see in the picture? One is the speed, other one is velocity. Speed, you can tell it speed of delivery. Okay. Now, speed means how fast you are traveling. Very good. Super speed. This guy goes super speed. That's nice. Now, point is velocity, speed in a given direction. Cool, right? Given direction. So now, speed with a direction. I know some of you are good in science. Okay, I'm a last bencher in the science, may not know a lot. You all know the formulas. Okay, let's not worry about that now. Let's go managerial leadership format. Leadership format is, hey, how much quickly you will achieve the business goal. Now, if you have a goal to achieve, a target to achieve towards a business objective, and that you travel in a speed, that's going to be velocity. Velocity is a speed in a given direction. There is a goal this week, next month, this much of work to be completed and will be completed, have been completed. To be completed, will be completed, have been completed. Over. Okay. Am I moving in a direction towards a goal? Yes, I am. How do you check that? Every 2 weeks, we do a review, a retrospective. Review means checking ourselves. Are we going good? Okay, that's a usual agile format. Some of you coming from Scrum team, Kanban team, or a Scrum plus Kanban, Scrumban team, Scrumban, Nanban team. So these teams all have some sprint goal or iteration goal, and we move towards it. My point here is velocity means has a goal, and there is a speed towards it. That's a basic. Let me go a little more. Let's go. Now, what is velocity? Okay, what is velocity? Let's see. I don't want to put some definition from Harvard University. Not needed. It's a very basic understanding. What is velocity? Velocity is the amount of work. I'm keep telling that your team gets through in a set of amount of time. Okay, gets through. It means over. Past tense. It's not future tense. Past. Over. Tense also, I don't want to go too much of English class. Just want to tell that velocity is amount of work your team gets through. They completed. You're talking this only after the team completed. Past, not future. Okay. That also work. Don't get too much complicated of feature, epics, user story, work breakdown structure, work package, activity. Some people, you give a small plate of item, they'll make noodles out of it. I see some people, they themselves complicate too much, confuse everyone around the room. Okay. Make it very simple. Work completed. That's it. How much work completed? That's what they're asking. How much the measurement unit? This could be hours. This could be in story points. This is a place people get a jerk out of it. Oh man, story points, right? Let's not worry much about it now. One day I will talk about this. I'll take another class that I explain more about story points. But for now, team completed something, right? And some portion. Let's see some examples. I'll explain more. Now, I have given some more wording here. The velocity of a Scrum team is Scrum team. I put an underline here, a Scrum team. What is a Scrum team, Shriram? Team includes a lot of people like you and me. Okay, maybe not the managerial people, maybe the core guys. If I want to do some painting for this room, the actual painter, that guy work is counted, not the contractor work. Contractor will stand outside. That guy will be smoking and talking phone call. This guy is not going to do anything, right? This guy is just stand outside of the room, but he makes sure everything's available. But the painting guy, that's counted. So now the velocity of a Scrum team is a number of story points or per person hour, how many hours you worked. Completed, I want you to observe this word. Don't worry about the numbers now. Completed, past tense, over. How much you completed. The word completed is very, very, very important. Half a baked work will not be taken. Completed. What do you mean by completed? Completed means there is something called definition of done. I believe I've spoken about this in another YouTube video. Check out that video one more time. If not, see in our YouTube channel, you will get it. There is something called definition of done, DOD. As per DOD, something is over. What is DOD? Definition of done between the agreement between the team and the product owner or a sponsor. You all agree with each other. When I do this, when these all points met, then it is over, right? Those are the work will be counted as team's effort. It's too much confusing, man. Can you explain me a little more? If you ask me, let me put like this. Okay, there is a team. Okay, I pulled out some example. At sprint 1, they are working. Beginning. This is planned. Planned will be a lot of things planned. That's okay. How much you completed? Done. The word done has amazing meaning. I keep telling in different classes, the people in different country has a different culture. In some country, the culture done means only 70% is over. 30% will get over only after some time. Okay. In some country culture, done means till last point is over. Okay. In order to arrest all this problem only, they created something called DOD, definition of done. Common understanding for everyone. Whenever you say done, all. What do you mean by all, Shriram? If you're a software person, you will do software development, you will do testing of it, you will promote a different environment. Again, you do customer testing there. Handover will happen. Only when all bullet points met, it's called done. Okay, let's not jump too much inside. I will ask you to see that video of definition of done. Now here, if you do a calculation, there is one user story. That means one work. That work is 2 points. 2 points with what, Shriram? Okay, let's not go too deep inside, but a quick heads up. 2 points for this team could be maybe a 1 day of work. 2 points can be of 3 days of work. They don't count about the number of hours. They say 2 points. The work worth is 2 points. Some work is 5 points, little heavy. Some work is 8 points, a little more heavy. 13 points, little more heavy. So heavy works are there. Now, collectively, they have completed around 28 points. They have completed. Okay, now what happened is this 28 is the velocity of the team. Now I'll come back to the point. Velocity is the amount of work your team gets through in a set of amount of time. We call it as a time box. What is a time box, Shriram? Time box is something you keep to your team, like what your reading habit. 90 minutes is your time box. In the 90 minutes of time box, you want to read 10 pages. Okay, that's a time box which you get because there is something called Parkinson's law. I believe I heard about Parkinson's law. Work expands to the time what you have. Or could be a lot of good English definition is there, but work expands to the time what you have. So if you have 10 days, even small work will go for 10 days. If only 2 days of work, 3 days of work will come into 2 days. It's possible, right? Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do that. Income tax filing, you all do that in the last day. You get the whole HR paper, this paper, that paper, everything, bundle it and put in a box in office. We all do that. Within 2 hours, we'll do everything. So there is something point here is we don't want to expand the work, keep on like that. So we have a time box. So time box could be for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. So within this 4 weeks, the team plans to do something, and that's going to be called as a sprint. In this sprint, team decided to take some work. The previous slide I showed you, velocity is working towards a goal, isn't it? You have a goal to achieve, the speed towards a goal. What is a goal? The goal is nothing but within this time box, we'll achieve something. Shriram, keep on talking the Ironman, what it is. Let's take a Google web page. In Google web page, there is a user ID password login. That functionality will take 4 weeks for a team to complete. So 4 weeks means could be 2 week sprint, sprint 1, sprint 2. In 2 sprints, they can complete it. Okay, it's a time box. What if they can't complete within this? Chances are it will go next further sprint. But the thing what you learned in this 2 weeks will give an idea, can I do in 1 more week, or you have to extend furthermore? So that's what we're going to learn now. So first basic understanding, what is velocity? Velocity is the amount of work your team completed in a point of time. It means again the past. Let's see other more benefits on this. Baji is asking, please elaborate sprint and task some more. We'll talk more, but again, this discussion is for velocity. Let's not deviate, right? Because we have few more videos shared on sprint. I will take 1 more session for it, right? Let's focus on what we want to talk today. If not, we'll keep on going. It won't end up anywhere. I'll try to cover in the Q&A. Keep it with you. Okay, let's talk about something on the velocity factor. Okay, coming back velocity factor, week 1, week 2, and forecast. Okay, now let's take this little kid. Okay, this kiddo is doing some exercise here. In week 1, can someone tell me what is the weight this person is lifting? And can someone see the picture and tell me what is the weight this person is lifting?
10 kg.
10 pounds or 10 kg. Let's keep it as kg. Easy for us, people from India. Okay, so 10 kg, this guy is lifting on week 1. Okay, week 1 could be of Monday to Friday, some other day, whatever you want to say. This is lifting. That's a lifting ability. Now, end of that week, that is on that, let's imagine it's Monday to Saturday. Sunday give off. Saturday worked out. Saturday evening, someone asked him, how much weight you lifted on this week? Probably will tell 10 is my capacity or 10 is my velocity. That's a weight I can lift. And week 2, he improved a little more better. He wanted to lift a little more extra weight. Can someone tell me what is the weight you see for week 2? What is the weight you see there? 17.5, right? It's a decent weight. There's 17.5, this person's lifted it. Of course, they look like so little kiddo, shouldn't lift this much of weight. Anyway, he was doing it. Now 17.5 lifted here. Now there is a good difference, right? 10 as 1 week timeline. Now here it becomes some weight of 17.5. Could be pounds, kg. Yeah, that's how it is. Now, point here is you are not worried about what happened. You are worried about what's going to happen. Velocity primarily used for what? Forecasting. Velocity is used for forecasting. If I know what team has done, what my team is capable of doing, then I can forecast things. For that reason, we use a velocity. Good. So imagine your team completed 10 kg or 10 pounds, whereas here week 2, 17.5 pounds done. Now with this, I want to forecast. Shriram, it's wavering, man. One time it's 10, 1.17.5. How can I decide? Can I believe the team going forward, they'll always do 17.5? Can I believe the team will be always 10? What is the thought? What do you want to say? Let me check it with you. Would you want to go with the 17 or are you going to go with the 10? What is your thought in forecast? Forecasting. Average. Obviously, right? Many of you telling the chat window, it's average, man. It's basic school knowledge. Come on, Shriram, don't ask me this. Okay, very basic. Okay, let's go with the basic. Basic is putting average. So whatever happened in the past, you're putting the past data, your team data, and dividing it. Shriram, man, actually I'm supposed to lift 20 pounds. That day I had a fever and not well because of which 70. That's fine. Shriram, that was a Diwali season, man. 2 days we were off. We didn't go to gym. My capability went down. That's fine. Shriram, that day I took a protein shake. I feel healthy. You should take 15 only. That day took 17.5. That's fine. They're not worried. They're not worried. You have the capability. We're not worried about suddenly went high down. Fine. That's why we find average. Averages help us. But again, we are going to work out more on your average. Don't think the moment 2 weeks happened, with this we'll make a plan for next 3 years. No. Another 4 or 5 sprints will plan. Again, we'll see week 3 what you do. That is why we have retrospective. That's why we have review. That's why we have sprint planning. Every 2 weeks, chances are it will be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And this is why people started liking Agile, because I don't blindly believe something. I don't close my eyes and tell that, boo, it'll work. No, I'm seeing evident in the gym how much you're lifting right in front of me. In front of me, I'm seeing you're lifting 10 kg. Good. This guy can lift 10 kg now. Tomorrow, can you try 11? No, I'm not good. 9. That's okay. Fine. 9. But you won't drop to 5. He'll be 9. Right? I know your ability now. This guy is lifting 17.5. That's fine. Tomorrow, maybe 15, maybe 20. And this evidence for the customer watching you doing workout feels good. Right? Don't quickly start comparing all the calculations and don't make the noodles out of it. Be simple. Be simple. It's trying to give a forecast for a long. Again, repeating, velocity is talking about what is completed, which is a past, with the past, predicting the future. Is it correct? No, it's an average. Now, some more points I'll explain here. Let's go a little more. I know a lot of questions popping up for you. Let's go for a Q&A in a few minutes. Now, let's go to the Sprintler. Gym and all, okay, Shriram, I never go to gym, man. In this COVID time, I paid the gym fee, all gone. Huh? Somebody feeling like that? That is a day I paid. Government said lockdown, all my money gone. Okay, coming back. So now, team, there is a team here, and this team is capable of or completed 28 here. 36 they completed. What is this 36, Shriram? 36 points they completed. Okay, 36 work item. Don't worry about story point today. I'm not going to talk about it. Don't worry about it. 36 work items they completed. 28 work items or story points completed. 30 story points are completed. So this much is completed now. Completed. I'm using the word completed, over. Now, if you club it together, you get a velocity. Now, with this, I can plan my sprint 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Some numbers I can plan, assuming this will go well. But do anyone see here too much of variance? 28 and 36, too much, or it is very close? It's like a wave. Do you see like a wave, or it's super rocket high and come down? Something like that. Do anyone feel like that? This team is peculiar, Shriram. If you feel that, I don't think so, right? You all will feel it's okay. These guys are decently they're doing the work. Okay, great. So now let me go a little more. Now, what is the use of velocity? Shriram, this is velocity, I understand. You do from the past, completed work. So what's the use of it? If you ask me what is the use of it, first thing, for the planning purpose. How do they do the planning? The planning part, we have user stories, bunch of user stories planned for the overall project. Now, the overall project, imagine there are 200 points to be completed, 200 story points to be completed, approximation. On that approximation, if I put this average of 25 as velocity, what you calculated now, simple mathematics, what you did, then you come to know that there are 8 iterations I have to further run to complete this 200 points. You know, these 200 points are correct because we have backlog grooming, we have story definition further going to happen. 200 points can become even 220, maybe. 200 points can become 180, maybe. It's going to waver, nothing wrong in it. And also don't think the velocity 25 will be constant. It may even go to 30. It may even go to 20. But the point is, at this point of time, today, at this point of time, when I have 200 points with me, my team velocity is at 25. My team may need 8 iterations to close the project. What is 8 iterations? If it is 2 weeks iteration, it's going to be 16 weeks of time. Shriram, 16 weeks goes to how much? Few months of time, right? That's a work we estimate. right? Possible. So you can see here 200 points, 20 as velocity, could be 10 iterations needed. So it could vary. Now, point here is why we calculate velocity. We do velocity calculation to understand how to predict the future, release planning. So now you can question me, so Sriram, the velocity is not used by the team. Little bit from the team, most of them from the leadership team. Oh, God. Yes, it's a metrics used by the leadership team to predict how things are going to happen. So for the team, they'll be so happy to understand how they're performing. By this, they'll come to know what is happening, whether to improve, balance, all going to happen. But primarily, this will be used by the people like you who is sitting in the rolling chair in the comfortable AC room, to think about what to do long run. Long run plan is going to be done here. Team definitely participate, but the majority of this usage goes to some of them decision makers to understand how this will help us a long run, right? Great. Let's go a little more. Okay, I'm sorry, there's a question popping up here. This iteration is max value. What is max value? You're talking about rounding up the value, Arul?
Shriram, my question is like whether this 10 will be the maximum iteration possible, or it is. That's what my question is.
What do you mean by maximum? When you have 200 points, that's a limit. Do you want to extend furthermore?
No, I just want to know if in case in the future, because if we are forecasting it might go beyond 8 also iteration. If you are forecasting at 8 iteration might be required.
Possible. Okay. See, the math is in front of us. By the math, it says 8. If you want to tell, hey, by my experience, I'll tell you, 8 iteration may not be sufficient. It may add more. That's later. But for now, your paper says very clear, team is having a good speed of or working ability of 25. So 8 is a 1. But don't lock it. You don't put 8 and you lock them inside, isn't it? You don't do that, right? I gave a clue that 200 points can become 220. Okay. Because we have something called, what is that? Refinement. You remember it? Grooming and refinement. When you do that, some user story can get added up. Some can be reduced. Some new requirement can come inside. Possible. So at this point of time, look like we need 8 iterations. So I don't want to lock them with 8 iterations. Could be 9, could be 7, possible. Right? As per the paper now, it shows 8. Okay, let's go a little more. Just start off showing one more graph for you to understand. I don't want to drill too much in the graph, but give an idea for you. Imagine there is a team working. Sprint 1, they have completed 8 points. Okay, user stories, 8 user story points. And sprint 2, they're done with 11. 3, they're done with 10. And by this time, they're 15. And then 7. If someone wanted you to find that, when I come into 5th sprint, I'm trying to see an average. What is the velocity? By now, you have understood that you have to sum up all this and divide by 3, which will give some points for you. So what's the purpose here? The purpose here is release burn down chart. The release says there are totally 48 backlog items, 48 points. That's why you have 48 here. Okay, 48. From 48, they're done 8, they're done 11, they're done 10, they're done some more items. Keep closing out, right? Later could be some new defects added, new items got added. Now, what is happening here is a person like you in Agile leadership, or could be a team themselves, they will see what is happening here. Am I closing out properly? If you see here, the velocity is 12 points on an average. On an average, is 12 points closing out consistently, right? Even though there are ups and downs, sometimes it was 8, sometimes it was 10, but sometimes they went to 15 and 11. On an average, 12 points getting closed out, right? So with this, they can tell when the whole project would get completed. Once again, I tell you, velocity talks about what has been completed, and this will help you to predict the future when the project will get over, right? That's a metrics helping the team, also the senior management, to understand how to plan. Now we have to understand one interesting thing here. So far, what I have said here is what is velocity and where it is used. Now we have to see how do they come up with velocity detail. Let me go to that section. Oh, great. I just gave a clue that it's going to be used for release planning. Some of you would be involving in release in your corporate. If you don't do that, this is how it happens. We have a product backlog. Product backlog will have half defined, full defined, or nothing defined. So kind of set of work will be there. Now they'll start putting the release plan. It'll tell the release 1.3, release 1.4. Between these releases, how many sprints should be there? Shriram, what is release? Release could be a major event where you bring something to the market. I always quote this example of Amazon. Amazon says it's $1 billion sale. $1 billion sale, they cannot run just like that with the application what they have, because huge customer base going to access it, right? Because that day you all will go there, click, 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 buy that mobile, buy that t-shirt, right? You all going to do that. The load is going to be heavy. Also, they should provide a super good screen where all the details are available. Now, these features should be developed and released to the market. Could be a release for Amazon says, let's say, Diwali release or Christmas release. Yeah? They're going to do that. Now, for this release, they will have a bunch of work to be completed. So this work could be happening for a sprint basis. Could be 2 weeks, could be 4 weeks. Let's take 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, they'll test it in the local and see everything's working well. They keep moving and integrating and connecting all the dots. They do that. And some teams release it to the market regularly, every 2 weeks. Some teams accumulate it and release it, right? But point is, there is a milestone. It's a milestone. It's a milestone to tell that these all completed in the last 3 months of time. Now, point is, when you go to senior management level, you want to know that how is your team performing? Based on this, how many releases I can plan? I may have 1.6, 1.8 releases to be planned, but I won't do that now, right? I'll be more cautious because I have a team of 12 people, and this 12 people is delivering in this format. I would predict up to say September, October. I know there could be attrition. People can move out of the company, or my company will come and tell that, Shriram, can you release that resource I want for other project? Possible. I have to give them. Or my client itself will tell that release 1.4, 1.5, slow down. We have a financial crunch there, slow down. Maybe. I don't want to plan too much high. I will plan some distance. For this some distance, I need the velocity, right? I need to see how team did so far. Based on that, I'll put a track record, right? That's how it's going to work. Okay, let's go. Let's go a little more. Okay, how to estimate? Let's come to this part. How to estimate velocity? Right, how to estimate velocity? Now coming back here, velocity could be estimated in a few ways. Usually in the books, you will see some formats are given here. 3 formats, we will talk about it. 3 is, one is using historical values to see how we might plan for the going forward. Other one is run an iteration and see. So far, whatever we discussed is running an iteration. Running an iteration to see how the team is performing. Based on that, you plan your future. Other one is forecasting. Make a forecast. Now, these all forms, and this all has something called cone of uncertainty inside that. So what is cone of uncertainty? When I say cone of uncertainty, when a project begins, the understanding level of the product and people will be pretty low. So chances are there'll be a long gap between what we think and what happens. So even if you say 10 weeks to complete something, it can go up to 16 weeks, the higher side, lower side in 6 weeks also you can complete. There'll be a good amount of difference, right? Optimistic, pessimistic model, kind of, you'll have a different wavering length. So this is going to be of cone of uncertainty. Uncertainty means too much of risk and technical uncertainty, requirement uncertainty, a lot going to be there. As the project progresses, the cone sets closer where you get more clarity of what to achieve, right? Keeping in this mind, you have to start working on a project. Don't think on the first week, the team will do amazingly great. The product owner will be great. No, it'll take time, right? So now let's see 3 ways. How do they do this? Now, if you watch out, one is using historical values. What is historical values? You may look back some of the project in your corporate, like analogous, we used to talk in a predictive nature. You look back. When you say look back, you will see how the team has done there, The same we try to replicate it here. Now here, there is a risk. The point here is the team which worked earlier in the same project should be here. Okay, provided circumstance. I mean, then the technology should be same. The domain may be same. The product owner may be same. The environment may be same. The technology, technical factors may be same. When all these parameters are same, chances are we can predict there the team was able to complete 25 story points. Here also team will complete 25 story points. It's pretty rare to see the same vibration, but in a project, when they have multiple releases, chances are a team moving from one release to another release will continue the same technology, continue with the same product owner, continue the team proportion, technology, some more features. Chances are a little bit change, if not all be same. If that's the case, your historical value will help. That means looking different project altogether or different release altogether. Just make use of it from the day one of the project. Keep in mind day one. We're talking about day one. Okay, which is very rarely happens, but it happens well and good. The second model is run an iteration. It's a very common and agile project. What they do here. Here in day one, I don't have any data. I don't have any data to predict something. For the future, for predicting, I don't have any data. So what do? First thing, you get a time space from your client. Your client will tell that, guys, let the team start working. Once a team starts working, we will get clarity of how they are performing. Based on that, then we'll predict things. It's not easy, but of late, clients are agreeing to this because they do know that they are also in an uncertain world. They're also not clear on the requirements. Technology also uncertain. That's the reason they came for agile projects. If that's the case, they'll give some space. What do you mean by some space? Maybe 1 sprint, maybe 2 sprint, they'll give a time. Some companies give 3 sprints of time. What is 3 sprints? In this 3 sprints, what will happen is a sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. In this 6 weeks, whatever examples I showed you, the team will work. Sometime it'll be 20, 25, 30. Now we get some clarity. What is this clarity? You get a clarity that the team is having ability of completing 25 points and the product owner is good to respond back and the reviews are happening. When you say 25 points completed, it means work is over. It's not half a work, fully over. Now you get a wavelength, how this team is working. With this, you'll start planning. Again, after 3 weeks, you may look back again, redo the stuff. But point here is you have some evidence to tell this is how the team may work in future, right? So if you watch out, historical is just making use of the day one itself. The team put all the plans. Usually you can tell this happens in the first one using historical value. Your senior manager, your technical lead, your architect, business head, all these guys will sit and do paperwork. Check. They'll put something and say, hey, okay, go ahead for it. Now here it is something on basis of real work. Okay, that's why option 2 is always preferred. Option 2 is preferred because you're seeing in front of your eyes something is working, right? You see the people doing the work. Maybe 20, next time 16, that's okay, but they'll come back. But you're seeing the evidence. That's the reason people prefer the second option. They make the vehicle to run a little bit. Once they run, they get a feel. Now they'll go for it, right? That's why Agile goes better with the second option. The least preferred option is the third one. Make a forecast. This happens here. They will not have no historical information. They will not run any iteration. Now they'll make some calculation on the assumption. Here comes the word assumption. What is assumption? They will take how much of work is there, features, user stories. They make an assumption estimation. If a user story is this much of size, it may take 2 weeks. It may take 3 weeks. On top of that, they'll take, I may need 5 resources. I may need 10 resources. 10 resources into 40 hours, into number of dollars. What's the cost needed? So cost and time all done by assumption by some experts. We call them as experts. Why we have to do this third option, Shriram, forecast without having any data and nothing? Why? The reason is, sometime when you go with a contract, the contract will not start tomorrow. They will tell, let's start after 1 year, and maybe after 6 months they want to start. But they'll tell, give me the estimation. You don't have historical. You don't have a team to run the iteration. But they say, give me the estimation. What do you do? you have to go with some assumptions, calculations. You will give a rough order of magnitude. You heard about rough order of magnitude, ROM. You do a rough estimation and give the value. But it's a very least preferred option. People don't go for it, right? So first two is a preferred one. And that second one is a highly preferred because of team working on the ground. But here in the team working on the ground, you have to buy the time from the customer. Also, only when the project starts, you'll be able to talk about release. Until then, it'll be a rough estimation. When the team starts, the estimation get tuned. Now, if you observe historical, run iteration, or make a forecast, all will start with cone of uncertainty. If you observe carefully, this cone of uncertainty starts coming closer and closer and closer. When you come close to the multiple releases, release 1, release 2, release 3, you get matured. Your team becomes well tuned. I can predict my team can do 40 points, 35 points. That confidence level goes high in the corporate. Now, putting point, velocity, you learn something about what has happened. Based on that, you're going to forecast certain thing, right? For that velocity, you also understood that you need your team to complete certain thing. That's called definition of done. Only completed will be counted. Also, we understood velocity can vary. It won't be the same. It will vary, right? And also we understood that there are some estimate velocity. How do they estimate velocity? By historical, or maybe run an iteration, maybe make a forecast. Here, we are not worried about how a story estimation happens. If anyone here confused on that, don't get to that. As I said, don't put noodles and make out of it. We are talking only velocity, which is on the leadership part. If you want to talk about estimation, that's a different discussion altogether. How a user story estimated. What is the story's points? That's different. We are talking about leadership level planning. How do they do things, right? There you do the stuff. Because I see some of them a little confused that, okay, then what is that? What is it? Okay, don't get worried about it. We are talking about at the level of release planning. Of course, the points are needed. I'm not saying no, but let's not mix that with velocity calculation. Okay, I believe you're getting some detail today. Before I go some more explanation, I know there'll be a lot of questions. Today Q&A is going to be pretty interesting. Let's do some more stuff. Let me try to give some more information which can help you. Let's imagine a situation here. There is a product backlog. You have a bunch of items here. Your team estimated one user story is 8 points, 5 points, 3 points. It's up to you. We don't want to get into deep detail that. The team pulls their desired number of stories in the current sprint. Look at here. I gave a word in the beginning. Two things very clear in Agile. One is customer satisfaction. Other one is what I say. One is customer satisfaction. Other one is what I say.
Empower the team. Empower the team.
Empower. Keyword is empower. If you watch out here, this is pure empowerment. Team pulls. No one can align the work to them. Team pulls. I'll tell you, even in the corporate, still now nearly more than 50-60% companies don't have this concept of team pulling. Someone called as a team lead, team manager, project manager, scrum master who become a boss, don, gang leader. These guys only allocate work to the team. They're yet to mature. They are the people keep fighting in the Agile forum. Why this? Why that? Why this? The reason is they couldn't understand the being Agile. Being Agile is a mindset. It takes some time. So now coming back here, empowerment. By this empowerment, a team is pulling the work, right? So when the team pulls the work, they pulled 8, 5, 5, 3, 5. How much it comes? Maybe 10, 18, 15. Okay. It goes around at 26. Oh yeah, here it is. So 26 points have been planned to do possibly. Now what happened? End of the sprint. Sprint started, end of the sprint. Let's imagine 10 days of sprint, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday. 10th day, they're showing to the customer. Customer could be a person from the organization where the business originated. From there, this guy or she comes out. They're showing the demonstration to them. We have completed this story. Very good, completed. This completed, done. This completed, done. Here they're saying almost done. If you give me another 5 hours, you'll complete. It's a day over. Sure, Sriram, it's so brutal, right? Even though they say only 5 hours, give me, why don't you give it? No, that's not the case. It's a time box. Time box is clear. Once the time is over, like an exam hall, right? The exam hall time is over. They want to give you another 2 hours. I will write exam. No, I don't know. Now this work will go back here. Again, the product owner will prioritize when they have to bring it back, right? That's a point. Not at all started. Too many things in the plate, man. I can't do too much of work. So this also will go back. Now, when these stuff go back, now these three got completed. Now, these three completed is called velocity. Even though 26 picked up, only 18 completed. Okay. Now, next sprint, when the team pick up, will they pick up 26 or 18? What is your thought? Here again, we are not forcing the team. Teams looking at their ability, they'll pick up 26 or 18.
18.
Possibly 18 to 20, 25. Nothing wrong. See, they will have a reason, right? They will tell the reason that we came close to complete. Some reason is stopped. We couldn't do. They will learn their mistakes. After 10 days, 11th day morning, they'll sit and talk. That's called retrospective. What went well? What doesn't go well? What area we can improve? They're talking to each other. By this, a team is understanding, hey, we took 26, man. Why we complete only 18? What's the problem? There's a technical blocker. We didn't understand properly. Okay. Ramesh was off. That's also a problem, right? So this sprint, anyone off here? Someone says, yeah, I am off. Oh, one person is not available, man. We have to plan accordingly. So the team learns out of the mistake, and the next time when they do little cautiously. They'll take 18 to 23 or 24, or again 26 possibly. So point is, a velocity helps a team to understand how we can do one. A velocity helps primarily the leadership team to plan the release planning, what to do. But now I'm telling, don't worry about these points. We will talk in another session, how these points come up here. Don't worry about it. That's a different segment altogether. But point is how the velocity is happening. Great. I believe it gave some thought in your mind. Before we move, I have a graph of a velocity chart. What is a velocity chart? It shows a sprint points, story points, how much to achieve. The team thought they want, this is estimated, this is completed. Team thought to achieve 40, but they achieved 35. Team thought to achieve 45, they achieved 40. They achieved something here, something here. Sometimes it even goes close to this, possibly. So this will give an idea. The team is moving, right? From 30, they went to 40. From 40, they went to some 38. Again, they went to 45. Some movement is here, but they're not dropping to 20. Suddenly they drop to 20. There is a mistake. There is something wrong. Usually in the vacation time, I have seen this happens, dropping down, or some technical blockers or that totally it will drop down, right? Possible. So we use these charts to see how we can balance our team, how things can move forward, right? That's how it is. Cool. So I believe we went a little extra time here today on the explanation, but did you got some idea on the basics of velocity? We didn't go so deep. We didn't want to would go too high also. We try to explain a velocity is a team's ability of that particular iteration, what they are able to complete. And that is helping your leadership team or a managerial team to forecast something, right? And also the velocity can be up, down, up, down, up, down, right? If you understand this basic, you are pretty good at this point of time. What you'll do is we'll take a couple of questions and then you will start get an idea. All right, just a minute. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take some questions here in the sense of questions what I have now. After that, I'll come to your Q&A because you will have a lot of questions popping up in your mind. Let's talk about it. First thing, let's answer some of the questions here. I have a question on velocity. Let's make your brain to think. Look at this question and see if you can answer this question. Let's talk something on this. Then I'll come to your Q&A. Okay. The total number of story points to be completed is 45. Okay. Number of team members in the Agile team is 6. The velocity of the team is 5. How many iterations will it take for the team to complete? 45 story points. So just tell me the calculation what you use. I can see some numbers coming up. Can someone tell me the calculation what you do? So you're taking the word completed. Are you observing this? The word completed? Very good. It's 45. The number of team members in Agile. Do you think number of team members matters here in this question? Do you think number of team members matters here? I doubt, right? Okay, it's information, but I don't think it's based on this, you're going to do some calculation. It's not that much. Okay, the velocity of the team is 5. This matters a lot. Velocity of the team. maybe this 6 people, right? Their velocity is 5. 5 is not a really big number, but it's okay. Maybe they're starting now. How many iterations they want? They didn't tell about iterations means 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Don't worry much about it. They tell
So
how many iterations?
number of story points by velocity gives number of iterations. Number of story points by velocity gives number of iterations. Number of story points by velocity gives number of iterations. Number of story.
Good to memorize that. I appreciate it. So now coming back, so now the answer goes to D. Okay, good. So someone is memorizing it. Maybe the loop is running on. Total number of story points velocity for the team will complete the story points in 9 iterations. Very simple, straight question. Okay, this is a question. By the way, I have people from PMP. I have people from Agile. Agile people, sometimes they go very easily. I see more complication only from the PMP people. They'll take one velocity question. They try to screw it to the core and ask what will be the exam question. But in Agile, in PMP, they don't go this much. They may be this level only. This itself, they'll feel, oh man, such a tough. So if someone here from PMP, don't get too scared. They'll ask a very basic question of Agile. Somebody coming from ACP exam, chances are it may go a little more, one level down. There they ask. Okay, for you, for the people who are from ACP or Agile depth, maybe one level down. Let's see this question. Read through this question. Let's see if you can answer it. Okay, so now answer starts coming out. Now tell me, what are the keywords you see in this question? Keywords, some keyword you have to be very cautious here. Do anyone see some keyword, important keyword here?
Nearly complete.
Completed versus nearly completed. Very good. Very good. So nearly completed, you won't consider for velocity. Are you clear on that point? So you will consider only the completed, that is your team's ability. Only the weight I lifted, I will count it. I will not consider the tumble which I thought of lifting. No, it won't. You have to consider the weight you lifted, isn't it? So it goes to C. If you watch out here, the last iteration, your team completed 4 user stories worth of 10 and 3 user stories worth of 5 each. Here it stops. Nearly completed 1, which could not be counted in. So it goes. Now, what will happen to this one story, which is nearly completed? Where it will go back? Do anyone know that? Where it will go back? Backlog.
Backlog.
Obviously, go back to the backlog. We'll push it to backlog. And Shriram, it's a nearly completed, man. Give me one more day to close it. Can we do that? No. We work on a time box. So we don't do that. It will go back to the backlog. Then the product owner decides. It's not me. Product owner decides, let's do that by 11th day or first day of the next sprint. Maybe it's up to them. We don't want to force them. Good shot. Okay, there is one more. Okay, I think I missed one question running through in between. Who's that? Baiji is putting a question. It will be go to product backlog or sprint backlog. So Baiji, when you complete a sprint, do you think another sprint backlog will be ready with us, or one sprint backlog will be valuable for only the 10 days? If you get that answer correct, you will get the question clearly well, right? So now for answering Baiji is asking me a question. Hey, what will happen? The go back means will it go to product backlog or sprint backlog? To help everyone here, once a sprint gets over, that sprint backlog is dissolved. It's over. That sprint is over. So there is no point. There is no place for you to call sprint backlog. It won't be there. Only product backlog will be there. So we'll create another sprint backlog later after we discuss. So it has a place to go back, always product backlog. Hope you got it. Okay, question looks interesting here. The question is asking about the activity that a team reviews its performance for the purpose of improving its performance for the next iteration. So what the answer should be here? The answer should be based on improving its performance. Team, how they will improve the performance? by retrospective. Retrospective is a place team look at themselves, what went well. Retrospective used for process improvement in the team. During the retrospective, the team reflects on what happened in the iteration and identifies action for improvement. Then what is velocity? Velocity is the number of stories that the team can deliver within the iteration, and it's not related to performance, right? So based on that, we don't calculate the performance. Superb. Superb. You are maturing. I believe we should go to Q&A. Let me see if I have one more question. Oh yeah, I have one more question. Let's check out this question and we'll go for Q&A. Which of the following is generally considered as the last option to estimate the team's velocity, not estimate user story. Estimates team's velocity. Don't confuse between estimating user story, estimating velocity. Be careful. Be careful, right? So if you're cautious on that, last option, I said 3 things, right? Did you remember 3 things I said for estimating velocity? 3 things I said. 1, 2, 3. What's the first one I said, if anyone remember it? Something I said about historical value, right? You look out for historical, first one. Second one, I said something about running an iteration, right? Third one, what we say? Making a forecast. Making a forecast is mostly of assumptions, which is pretty risky. It cannot be a good choice at the first shot, last option, but keep it handy with you. Why? My customer comes to me and says that, Shriram, I'm not starting the sprint tomorrow. I'm not starting the sprint for next month. It may be sprint by November, man. Give me something. You don't have historical. You cannot run the iteration. Now what do? You use an assumption. So how do you do assumptions? You take some stories, what they want, and put some calculation on that. You take team members and put a calculation on that. If that's the case, I'm seeing answers between A, B, and C jumping here. In YouTube also, I'm seeing some of the questions going there. Okay, it goes to A. Oof, really? Yeah, I said, right? Making a forecast. There are times when you don't have historical values. It's just not feasible to run a few iterations in order to observe velocity. In cases like this, we need to forecast velocity. Again, we are forecasting velocity, not estimation of user story. Don't confuse with both. Okay, let's go to Q&A. I believe you learned something. Just a quick recap of things. You learned what is velocity. You learned why we do velocity. Then you learned how do you estimate velocity at the moderate level. I won't tell we went so deep inside. We didn't go high, with a moderate level. So there'll be some questions here. Let's take some questions. I will take first question from YouTube. Rajiv Gopal. Is a higher velocity always equal to higher productivity? What are your views? I think Rajiv has a lot of information, but is trying to confirm something with me. Okay, when someone says higher velocity, doesn't mean higher productivity. It's a very nice question. So if a team says I have completed 40 points, team A says I completed 40 points. Team B says we completed 20 points. Now, which one you will give a higher weightage? 40 points or 20 points? Which team will tell best? What is your thought from the team members here?
Shriram, I think it's not about the completing the points. It's on the quality of the work, what is done.
Yeah, more than a quality, value of the work. Let's use the word value.
The resources they are using.
Right. If you are in Agile, you have to use the word value. What value you deliver? Out of 40 points, you were given only Google user ID password screen. That took 40 points for you. That value is different. There is another team, 20 points, but they did a two-way authentication, which is very more valuable to the customer. So it depends on the value, what they deliver to the market, and each team has a different capability. You cannot compare by the points. I think Rajiv knows the answer. Good, Rajiv. That's a good question. I appreciate the question. Okay, Ravi putting a question. Could you please explain the difference between forecasting and estimation? I think I gave a clue. Forecasting, what we discussed here, it's a velocity forecasting. Right. Also, there is something called a release planning. There is something called milestones list. Those are forecasting. benefit of all, I'll mute you. Vinod, I'm muting you. Okay, now, whereas estimation is a very traditional word which we heard long time. A project will be estimated. Estimation could be of a cost, could be for resources, could be for timeline. All three interconnected. So some number of people availability, you have to do estimation, and their availability will have some cost. Project work will have estimation, how much of time it will consume to complete the work, right? These are going to be there. So this is estimation, and forecasting we usually do based on estimation. Forecasting will happen, or team will work based on that. We'll do forecasting. I think you saw that when I explained about velocity. Okay, good. One more with the YouTube and come back to Zoom. Ahmed is putting, what if the team capable to complete story points more than the estimated story points? Will they be able to take more story points in the middle of the sprint? It is not recommended, Ahmed. Ahmed is asking, hey guys, team took 25 story points. Middle of the sprint, they're done with all. Middle means 6th day, they're done all. They have 4 days remaining. What to do? It's a flaw. It's a mistake. Whose mistake it is? Team's mistake. Okay. Usually, when we feel a slight assessment, something going to be there, we will have something called stretch goals. I believe some of you have heard about this, stretch goals. If they say 20 points, another 10 will be kept as a stretch goal. In case they completed, they can pick it up and start working. Even they don't do that, it's a lessons learned. It is not 1 year, it's a 10 days. So 6th day, 7th day, you come to know you completed. Hardly usually team do in 8th day, 2 days of despair. Now, where can you fix it? You have something called retrospective. The retrospective is meant for it. When you sit on the retrospective, you'll talk to the team. What happened? Why we didn't pick much? Why we completed faster? So that we can pick up more. They understand more. So next sprint, they'll correct it out. There is no hard rule here. So, but there is not, it's not a good advice to pick up something in the middle, because your sprint goal will change. Your proportion will change. What if the work you picked up, you can't complete within 3 days? What will happen? It'll again go to next sprint. So kind of, right, you get messed up. So point is, if it happens, it's a lessons learned. It depends on the corporate. Some corporate force it, do it. Some corporate tell that let the team learn and they mature. Okay, possible. So good way is don't do middle of the sprint, right? Great. Now I'll go to Zoom here. Very good. Zoom, I saw a lot of questions. I couldn't, I'm scrolling up. If someone feel good, please copy paste the question, or you can ask the question. I'll try to help you out. I'm going a little up. Sprint and iteration, is it the same, or one sprint consists this much iteration? Okay, Baiji is putting a question. Sprint and iteration are the same. Yes. Iteration is a agile terminology. Iteration, in any agile books, you will read. What do you mean by agile book, Shriram? There is something called agile general concepts. If you read the agile general concepts, iteration is the right word. Sprint is from Scrum methodology. Scrum methodology uses the word sprint, which is very familiar, but we use it interchangeably. Right? You understood. If iteration means could be 1 week, could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks, could be 4 weeks. So a week will be 5 days, 10 days, and then you have 15 days, 20 days. Usually in the market these days, you will see only 2 weeks iteration. Very rarely some company do 3 weeks iteration. Okay, that is for Baiji. And let me go a little more. Krishna, in our organization, we are using third model. Oh, very good. So third model means you're doing a lot of assumptions. Rahul, how about when we use historical values? Cone of uncertainty will be minimal. Yeah, Rahul is putting a question. When you use historical values for forecasting, uncertainty will be minimal. Uncertainty should be minimal if there are some conditions. I gave the conditions. If the team is the same, if technology is known technology, if the domain is same domain, if the product owner is same, if the environment is same, if all these things are same, minimal uncertainty. If some environment changes, product owner changes, it will pick up, right? It's a little tough. Many don't prefer historical of late in uncertain project. In construction project, you can pick it up. I do one home construction there, another home here. I will just use it because almost same. A little bit parameter will change, almost same. But what you're doing is a knowledge-based project. What is a knowledge-based project? Uncertainty is very high. That's why you draw that picture. If you remember in the classes, we'll call it, right? Requirement uncertainty is high. right? Technical uncertainty side. These two uncertainty side, it will go agile. If you see that picture, you will get more clarity on that. Hope Rahul, you got it. Sandeep is asking which model gives accuracy. Got the answer, model 2. Sandeep, in Agile, we don't prefer accuracy, right? We prefer an approximation closely. Here, the problem is the more you put accuracy, you put pressure on your team. If you don't maintain accuracy, team works on its own. Also, these all research-based projects, knowledge-based projects, which you cannot tell it will be done this. See, if a painter want to paint this room, I will tell it will take 3 hours to paint, because I would have seen a lot of painting in the last 10, 15 years. Maybe hardly one day extra if the weather is not good. But this logical work, what the technical teams are doing, you cannot tell. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't work. Sometimes it will work in 15 minutes. Sometimes it will take 1.5 days. Still, they can't find it, because it's all happening in a virtual world. I believe you all agree what the way this team is working, technical team, pretty complicated sometimes. Sometimes it's pretty easy. So that's the reason they don't put accuracy on them. They put an average on them, absolute estimation, relative estimation, right? I'll talk another day about estimation. Very good question. Shamima is putting question. Who decides how long should the sprint be? Also, is it necessary for all the sprint to be same? Good question, right? Shamima always put a good question. Good question, Shamima. She's asking, who decides a sprint? Huh? Show me that guy. I'll punch him on the nose. He's turning. Okay, fine, Shamima. We'll punch him another day. But the question is, who decides? Who decides means when the sprint or contract getting signed beginning, there we will talk with the customer. How frequently you want a deliverable? That's a starting point. Customer says we want deliverable every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. Some customer says don't disturb us, give it every quarter. But currently market is, at least they say give it every 2 weeks. What deliverable? Yep. Whatever you completed, show us a demonstration every 2 weeks. Now this is signed as a contract in the beginning of the project. Some companies mutual understanding, but it's always safe to have a proper contract, because tomorrow something goes wrong, a lot of problems starts happening. It's signed in the contract. I have seen mostly signed in the contract, 2 weeks iteration. If you want to change it, you have to go back to the customer. Customer should agree. Your team should agree. Empowerment. Huh? It's not only satisfaction. Empowerment also is there. You cannot work like a slave. What we do these days. Huh? This all will be another 5-10 years. Then it'll all gone. Once you and myself retire from the company, this will go. The next generation will not work like that. They will want to empowerment. So now you have to talk to the customer and extend it to 3 weeks of time iteration. But there should be a valuable reason why we do that. Right? That's a point. Also, she's asking, is it necessary to maintain the same length? That's a beautiful question. When you say iteration, we call it as a predictability. You should be predictable. You cannot wavering, right? One day you will come for 3 o'clock. One day you will come 5 o'clock. One day you will come 6 o'clock. And the customer will be confused, right? You have to tell, if you say this, you have to maintain it consistently. If you want to change, talk to them, change it. That's how they work. Good
also,
question.
Shriram, what if I have forecasted, say, it was forecasted, say, 10 tasks and in a sprint, and the team completes 15? Is it possible they do it more than what is forecasted?
In that particular sprint you're talking?
Yes.
I think the question came a few minutes back. Can they do more than what they committed? That's the question, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have missed it.
Yeah, usually that's not recommended. I gave a clue that if the team says 15 points to complete, okay, but the team did within 7 days all the 15 points. They have 3 days to spare with them. Now what to do? For that, I gave a clue that team sometimes picks up something called a stretch goal. If in case team can stretch some more, they will do something. They'll park some set of work called a stretch goal. They'll pick up from there and start doing the work. Okay. If you assume that this can be done little early, if not, a good practice it, leave it as it is. Let the team enjoy the 2-3 days, come back, client will punch you back why you didn't do it properly. Now what will happen is that retrospective team will sit and talk. They'll talk why we didn't plan it well. That will improve them for the next iteration. So in the sense, you may lose 2-3 days, but you will learn a lesson out of it, which you can utilize it for the upcoming sprint. It's a good progress. But I'm telling like this, in a current industry in the market, companies push work on the team, telling that you've done right, complete more. but it's not a good practice. We have to give empowerment and allow them. Hope it answers your question. Okay, let me go a little down. I know we are a little extra on the time today. Let me see some question I can answer and close the day. We cannot judge a user story. You got it, Shriram. Okay, Raj Babu. The sales team finalizes the offer with the customer based on the efforts provided by team with Agile method. If there are backlogs, how can commercials be handled? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of addition here. Sales team finalize the offer with the customer based on the efforts provided by the team. Okay, first thing, when the sales team close the offer, they will not go with the team and get all granular details. It will be the high level details. They call rough order of magnitude. Based on the rough order of magnitude, sales team will sign the contract. Sales team won't sign the contract. Sales team will make a deal telling that, hey, this project can be done by 4.5 million. For this 4.5 million, I will not ask all my team to put user story estimation 2.3 point. We won't do that. We will do some high level by your experts in the organization. We'll do that. Of late, the custom market is rough estimation. They make it and they hand over it. And that happens. If there are backlogs, how can commercials be handled? Okay. See, that is, I think you're putting too many questions in one place. I'll try to handle it properly. In the sense, sales team signing a contract is based on some POC they'll do. Some business case will happen. Some prototype will happen. This can team involve. If not, usually the experts in the company, they use something called t-shirt sizing, right? You know that XL, double XL, like your t-shirt size. They put a size based on the do estimation. Now, backlog is later stage. When you say later stage, work starts moving forward. 6 months pass by. After 7th month, you realize that more work to come. There will be a negotiation between the customer and the corporate team. Work is coming more. Do you want to extend the contract? Do you want to do the same within that? If you want to do within that, we cannot add more, right? So if you read the Agile principles, chances are you may get more clarity. They say that more than contract negotiation, there'll be customer collaboration, right? You should read that manifesto. Also in Agile, we make contracts, agreements, but at the same time, they won't skew it. Because in Agile principle number 2 says that, welcome changing requirements, even late in the development. We accept changes. So we will not say no for it, we'll go for it. When you say commercial is a different department, right? The commercial goes as per the work coming in, number of people works, number of people into number of hours into number of dollars. The commercial will happen automatically, right? Hope it helps you, Raj Babu. If you are from a different non-IT industry, it will be slightly tough to digest because in construction or manufacturing, contract is contract, right? Here, the contract will be slightly flexible. Hope you understand. We know this putting in a project, is it mandatory that all sprint are of same duration? I think Shamima put the same question. It is mandatory. We have to maintain it, right? If you want to change, there should be some valuable reason why you change. Because if you see my office calendar, every 2 weeks, there'll be a demonstration to the customer. It will be fixed. Every these many weeks, this should happen. It'll be all fixed properly because the customer will expect something on every 2 weeks basis. If you want to say something I can't do in 2 weeks, intimate, should we have a leadership discussion, then the change the contract. You have to change an agreement, at least not a contract, agreement within each other. Instead of 2 weeks, try to do 3 weeks. It's a mutual agreement. If that goes well, but if you maintain one thing, it's called maintain properly. It's called cadence, a systematic cadence. If you learn scaled agile, they'll make a strict rule that this is what should be followed, right? 2 weeks is a rule in scaled agile. One other day I'll talk about scaled agile. Cool, pretty good. Let me see anything. Question is in YouTube. I think we went 23 minutes extra. God's sake, you guys are feeling hungry on a Friday night?
Hi, Shriram.
Okay, nice. Any more questions I can help out?
Yeah, hi, Shriram. Ankur here.
Yeah, Ankur.
Yeah, actually, my question is related to forecasting. Like this, you told right in the earlier question, right? We can do forecasting as a last option. So if we are unknown to the subject and everything, so let's say I'll say a team that like it will take 5 sprints to complete whole work. Will that be acceptable, or like some data points will be there to judge, to validate those things?
So when you say data points, are talking about historical data points?
No. For forecasting, actually.
Yeah. We'll do. What we'll do is, Let's take an example. There is a medical practitioner, medical stores are there. Okay, chain of medical stores. You want to do some software application for them. You're talking to them. They're asking you, do you have historical? You said no. And you are asking them, when you want to start this project, they say, and now it's too much of COVID. We are earning a lot of money. We are billionaires now. Let's do after 6 months or 1 year. But start the discussion now. Give me some estimation. Now, what you do is they will pick up that work. They'll pick up that work. After picking up the work, they will understand some set of high-level features. The features, they'll try to put some low level. You call it as activity, user story, task, name it what you want, some small level. This small level, they'll start estimating. If this story can take these many points, these many days, they'll put a rough estimation. If that's the case for one feature, one user story, what is for the next 20 features? 20 features can have into 4 or 5 stories, 100 stories. 100 stories, these many hours it will take to complete it. When these many hours, if I put 4 resources to work for these many hours, each resource $20, $30, $40 into number of dollars. They make most of things in assumptions. Okay, here they'll use an SME, subject matter expert, who can give some idea. Okay, but he or she cannot copy something in the past project which doesn't match. You didn't do any medical related projects. You did a lot of construction related softwares for them. You did an aerospace project, but you didn't do medical. So you can't copy anything. But you can have an expert who can give idea. A story like this can go like this, like this. That will be data points. You get it? So these points will be shared with the customer, but it's a mutual discussion. Both the party has to sit and talk. How many features are there? How many stories are there? And they put estimation. Many companies do this, nothing wrong in it. And they make corrections. It will become a hybrid. What do you mean by hybrid? After some time, what will happen is you start running your sprint. When you run the sprint, you get some more clarity, maybe close to that, what you planned, or it can go totally varying. So they start adjusting the plans accordingly. Hope that helps you.
Yeah, Shriram, actually I got the point, but like you told, like we have to plan, means like, let's say one story, one user point. So that will be decided by SME, or like it can be decided by the person who like a PM or a Scrum Master who's dealing with this thing.
Anyone who has a knowledge can do that. There is no limitation, right? Scrum Master don't do this usually. Why is Scrum Master involved?
Sorry,
first of all, Scrum Master won't be the picture at all.
Technical person or SME, I mean.
Scrum Master won't be the picture at all. Imagine they want to do the project next year. Do you put a Scrum Master now?
No.
I don't think so. Your business guys will do the job. Business team and your SME, or maybe a project manager, Scrum, there'll be some fried rice mix of people guy will be there. Those guys will be in the project. They will come in. Hey, I know this, man. I'm in the industry for 10 years, 15 years. Let me do this. Kind of, these guys all be there. They will give some inputs, possibly. They will tell your team can work like this. Yeah, I want a junior developer like this. Those inputs will be considered. But definitely you need some business person. A business person only can talk more on that area, right?
Right.
Okay, great. Good, guys. Oh, that's 1.5 hours, man. Went a little bit long. Hey, first, thanks a lot for everyone staying here pretty late. So you learned something on the velocity today. Velocity is an easy subject. Unfortunately, some of you scared of it. Actually, nothing. Very simple, easy concept to tell about what completed. When you say what completed, you can see the future. That's it. There you stop. Don't try to drill too much. Stay away from that. Don't go to too much of article reading. Basically, understand how much completed. There you stop. Estimation is a different thing that you even read 5 to 10 times, still it will confuse. Because these guys introduced something called story points, Fibonacci sequence. These all they made you just to confuse. Nothing but it's an estimation technique. I'll talk one other session. We'll explain something on that part. Right? If not, be in our PMP or Agile class. I believe I've given some explanation about how to do story points. If not, we'll talk in the classes. So with this, we'll come to the end of the program. And as I said in the beginning of the program, one thing I want to understand from you is always feel motivated towards what you want to achieve, because I see many of them lose the motivation very easily. Could be due to family problem, could be your personal thing, or you feel somebody keep on winning. You feel, oh man, the guys keep on winning, I can't go. That's okay. Let him run. One day you will get your turn. So as I said, relax yourself, come out of the technology, put your gadgets out, go for a walk, right? And take a good deep breath and come back and read. Have a packet of time to read. Read 60 minutes, 90 minutes, close it, close the book. Don't always stay with the book. It'll get dry. close it, go walk and come back and read. Make life easy. Life is full of fun, right? You should not put everything for corporate and reading only. Do a lot more in your life. Good. Thanks for staying here for 1.5 hours. We'll catch up soon and catch you on Saturday, Sunday if you are part of PMP or Agile classes. Thanks for watching. All viewers, leave your comments and likes here. We'll be happy to respond to your comments. Thanks all. Have a great time.
Thanks, Shriram.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shriram. Thanks, everyone.